Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you. And hello, friends visiting us from home and visitors from wherever you are, whether that be in Iowa or somewhere else in the country. It's good to have you all with us this morning. My name is Kent McCusick. I'm the minister serving this fellowship, and my pronouns are he and him. The service this morning is called Filling the Cup in Front of Us, and the theme for March is Renewing Faith. It's good to be with you this day. Our board welcome this morning is by David Brenner.
Good morning and welcome. My name is David Brenner and I serve on your fellowship board of directors. I want to thank you all for being here today and extend a special welcome to visitors. Please stay on after the service for our virtual coffee hour in small breakout rooms or here in our building, where you may introduce yourself if you are comfortable and join in conversation. If you would like more information about the fellowship, please sign the virtual guest book on our website. You will find it under the Visitors tab. The Regathering Task Force met last week to review the new CDC COVID-19 community level guidelines. Today, Story County is rated low, which means the fellowship is open. Masks are recommended and requested. Registration is no longer required. We are not serving coffee or refreshments or singing. You are welcome to bring a beverage in a closed container. Childcare is not available. Starting in April, religious education will meet at 11 a.m. outdoors. Masking is not required outside. We are very happy to see you here in the fellowship hall or from the comfort of home using Zoom. We greatly appreciate all you have done and continue to do in keeping the community healthy and safe. Please continue to wear masks, stay home if you do not feel well, be mindful of others' comfort with social distancing, be vaccinated, and get those boosters when appropriate. Please continue to check the building status by reading the weekly email or checking the website. It is good to be together again. So, on behalf of this caring, nurturing congregation, I welcome each and every one of you to this sacred space. Here, we invite you into an experience of transformation, hope, renewal, and connections, which may inspire you to understand life in new ways. And I have a little bit of seasonal news. Spring is late this year. Usually by this time, the ice is broken up on our local rivers, but not yet this year. And generally, it's about this time. So if you have a chance, it's a fun time to walk along the rivers and see the seasonal progress. Sometimes the ice breaks up dramatically with big slabs of ice crashing against each other, and some years it doesn't, but it's still something to see. So thank you for joining us today. Good morning.
Thank you, David. Each week we begin our service by ringing a chime 3 times. Once to wake the chime, once to open our minds, and once to open our hearts.
In the world of the driven, let us be drawn in. Let your love be a given, let us be drawn in. To imagine, to dream, to create, to redeem, for the sake of the living, let us be drawn in.
This morning, as I offer the chalice lighting words, Dennis Woline, who joined the fellowship this morning, will light the chalice. The words are by Marjorie Squire. Children all, we come together in faith and hope to find what meaning life holds for us. to laugh and sing with one another, to soothe the wounds of daily life, and to grow together in wisdom and love. Our opening song this morning is from the Teal Hymnal, number 1029, Love Knocks and Waits for Us to Hear, sung by Les Tacey. For those of you at home, please feel free to sing loud and clear. And for those of you in Fellowship Hall, although we can't sing out loud, I won't tell anyone if you hum.
Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love longs to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right. Love offers life in spite of foes who threaten and condemn. Embracing enemies, love goes the second mile with them. Love comes to heal the broken heart, to ease the troubled mind. Without a word, love bids us start to ask and seek and find. Love knocks and enters at the sound of welcome from within. Love sings and dances all around and feels new life within.
One of the great pleasures as a minister serving this faith is welcoming new members into fellowship to formally be part of this community and the wider movement of Unitarian Universalism. This morning, we welcome Dennis Woline. Dennis, it is a joy to formally welcome you into our community of memory and hope. Will you journey with us, sharing the joys and responsibilities of membership? If so, please say, I will.
Yes, I will.
I invite you into membership with the UU Fellowship of Ames with the full approval of the Board of Directors and the entire congregation. So when you are ready, please sign the book and introduce yourself to the congregation here in the hall and to those at home.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Dennis Woline, and my wife Cindy and I moved to Boone a couple of years ago to be with our sons and their families. At the time of our move, I had a moment to stop and pause and ask myself, am I satisfied with the direction of my spiritual journey? And might I join another church? And I knew some about Unitarian Universalism and the principles that they stood for and the social justice work that they worked for. And I thought it would be a good fit. So the first time I came to this church and walked through the door, I saw the 7 principles that were displayed by the front entrance. And I read them, and later on I studied them more, and talked with people about them, and I decided that they fit well with my own personal philosophy and spiritual leaning. And one of the principles caught my eye especially, and that was that we affirm and promote a true and responsible search for truth and meaning. And that was a little bit different from what I had been used to, because in most churches, they lay down a set of doctrine, a lot of rules, and they ask, if you want to join us, then believe the same thing we do. Here at the UU Fellowship, we have the freedom to find our own spiritual path, and as long as it agrees with the 7 and now 8 basic principles. And that really appealed to me. And so I gladly join you in our work together for the work of our community and one another. And I thank you for your warm welcome, and I look forward to being a member with you.
Thank you. You can go back to your seat. Thank you. Let's all welcome. You've already clapped, but let's welcome Dennis. Saying together, welcome to the UU Fellowship of Ames. Welcome to the UU Fellowship of Ames. And once again. Our time for all ages this morning comes from someone I'm sure you're very familiar, or many of you are familiar with, who is Yusuf Cat Stevens. A book has been created for Peace Train, and he's going to share the words in song with us this morning. And it's a lovely book, and it seems particularly appropriate with the much needed increased level of peace in the world.
Hi everyone, I'm Yusuf Cat Stevens. I once wrote a song called Peace Train, and now they've made it into a little picture book. And I'm going to sing that for you now. And if you know the tune, if you know the words, you can sing along. Now I've been happy lately, thinking about the good things to come, and I believe it could be something good has begun. Oh, I've been smiling lately, dreaming about the world as one, and I believe it could be someday it's gonna come. 'Cause out on the edge of darkness there rides the peace train. Oh, peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Now I've been smiling lately, thinking about the good things to come, and I believe it could be something good has begun. Peace train sounding louder, glide on the peace train. Ooh, come on, peace train. Peace train, holy roller, everyone jump upon the peace train. Ooh, come on, peace train. Now get your bags together, go bring your good friends too, 'cause it's getting nearer, it soon will be with you. Now come and join the living, it's not so far from you, and it's getting nearer, soon it will all be true. Oh, peace train sounding louder, glide on the peace train. Ooh, come on, peace train. Now I've been crying lately, thinking about the world as it is. Why must we go on hating? Why can't we live in bliss? 'Cause out on the edge of darkness there rides a peace train. Oh, peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Peace train. Ooh-wah, ee-ah, ooh-wah. Come on, the peace train.
Our offertory recipient for this month is the Community Academy Micro School. And this morning we'll have an introduction from Mike Todd, who is the founder of the Community Academy and also a very active member of this fellowship. You can make your donation after the service by going to our website, uufames.org, and look for the giving page, and thank you for your generous gift. If you're in Fellowship Hall and would like to make a cash or check donation, there is a basket by the door on your way out.
Hello, my name is Mike Todd, and I'm with the Community Academy. I am just here to say we're really appreciative of being the Springs offertory recipient for the UUFA, and we are doing a lot of good work in our community. We're pushing the bounds of education, trying to change some things. We know that a lot of kids struggle currently in the system, and will continue to struggle. And telling them, as a second grader, just 10 more years, you got it, 10 more years of that's not realistic, and that's not helpful. And when we at the Community Academy think that these things that we're seeing in education right now are symptoms of a larger issue, and we see the solution as engagement. And I think that's kind of unique, weirdly, but engagement. Let's engage kids in something meaningful. School should be more like real life, where we need to get kids doing active things every day, right? Out in nature every day, out in the community every day, working on things, working on real community issues, meeting real community people, being mentors every day, having mentors every day, right? This is a life that over 13 years we think impacts kids in a very different way, and we're trying to push education that way. Right now, right, we're not in a position to do that, if we're in the public system, and so we're going to create something different that hopefully will push Iowa to evolve. Our kids deserve it. Our kids deserve it so much, and they are not going to be served otherwise. So this is a way and a chance to impact people who need something a little bit different. And we're going to be Iowa's first teacher-powered school. So we think that one of the pieces of having an equitable, engaging school is less bureaucracy, right? So we're going to create a teacher-powered school where we have more teachers and fewer, no administrators, actually. The teachers all have administrative duties. It's much more resilient and responsive to students and families and teachers and what's going on day to day. And we call this thing we're creating a micro school, right? It's going to be a smaller space. It's much more nimble to change as we see and students see the need for change. And we're really an R&D. We're going to be located out at ISU Research Park, and we're really R&D for education. We are in it, and the kids are part of it, and the families are part of it, and we are going to continue to change what we do until every student and every staff member are excited and beating down the doors to get to school every day. If that's not happening education-wide across our state, we need to continue to change. Unfortunately, that's not happening right now, and so we are going to do that. That is how students and teachers should exist every day. Super excited to go to school, doing something meaningful, engaging in our communities and real life in a meaningful way. And so, and we've seen these schools up in Minnesota and Wisconsin. We've been visiting these schools for about 5 years, right? The Community Academy was founded in 2017, and we became a 501c3 in 2018. And we've been on this journey for quite a while. And as teachers, all teachers have been on this journey. Every day they go to the classroom, they're trying to engage kids. And it evolved into this because this gives us an ability to make some of those changes that we can't currently make in our current system for a variety of reasons. So please think about, and consider supporting the Community Academy in our work right now. The planets are aligned, and we have a lot of great educators and great students and some resources that are happening right now, and it's the time. Now is the time to help and open up our micro school in the fall of 2022 to a group of students that'll just be the start of where we think education can go and what it can be for everybody on a daily basis. So visit our website, email me or others at the Community Academy if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
That's much more challenging than shifting from multi-platform to virtual. And so it's, dear ones, it's not about perfection. It never was, and it never will be. Our reading this morning is by Martha Postlethwaite. It's called Clearing, and the reader is Ralph Gandy.
Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into your own cupped hands and you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue.
Each week, we take time in our service to share milestones, significant things happening in our lives that are bringing us joy or challenge or gratitude. With this multi-platform context, we invite people in Fellowship Hall to offer a milestone if you'd like first by coming up to the microphone here in the front, introduce yourself, briefly sharing your milestone, and I'll light a candle for you. After that, we will take the transition to welcome folks at home to share a candle, and you will be advised when it's okay to share with a message in the chat. This is our time of sharing.
First. Okay, I'll stand up. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Gerganis, and I'm lighting this candle because 24 years ago today, exactly today, besides it being a blizzard outside, I was on my 9th day of being at Mercy Hospital. I was pregnant with twins. I was 6 months pregnant, and I was literally a beached whale. I really was, because although I had 3 pounds of baby in me, I had about 80 pounds of fluid also. So at 4:59 and 5 p.m. 24 years ago, Alex and Brennan were born, and so this fellowship just stepped up and provided transportation for me and Clay to get to and from Des Moines to go visit and hold the babies. And after Brennan died when he was 6 weeks old, they once again came through with flying colors for us. And so this fellowship just really means a lot for me, with my family. My sister is in California. My parents at the time were in Pennsylvania. And so everyone here was my extended family, my network of support, and they have been over all the years. Some of you may know that Alex was quite the challenging little kiddo, but he's now a very healthy and happy 24-year-old today. So anyways, okay.
Hi, I'm Laura Murray. Many of you probably know my parents, Mike and Melissa Murray, but my milestone is making my way back to the UFA. I grew up here. I came here for probably about 12 years, and today I found myself back here. So thank you.
If there are no other milestones in this room, we'll make the transition to our folks at home. And while we're doing that, I invite you into a time of deep breathing together. Breathe in and breathe out. And repeat.
Hello, I'm Irv Kloss. I had an unusual situation last week. I went to Mercy Hospital for a minor surgery, I would say, to insert what's called a Watchman into my atrium of my heart. It was an alternative to taking blood thinner, which I was having problems with. And unfortunately, the operation was unsuccessful. The Watchman is a small device that is placed into the diverticulum of the left atrium. And the diverticulum opening was not large enough to accept the device. So the surgeon was unable to get it in. But I recovered, and I was home the next day. So it's a blessing that I survived that, and I also am now back on blood thinners, which I hope my body will tolerate. Thank you.
This is Bob Anders speaking. I have two things. First item is our fellowship member, Sam Osei, is involved in a wonderful and quite hilarious community theater production in Webster City, Iowa. I don't have the details in front of me, but I believe the production goes on. We saw it yesterday, and I think it goes on next weekend. But you can find information on Webster City Community Theater on a web search, and it's worth the drive to Webster City. My second thing is at our virtual Romeo breakfast meeting on Friday, there was a discussion about what can we do in terms of the situation in Ukraine. We sort of feel hopeless and without any direct way to impact the situation. It was discussed that the country of Romania is adjacent to the Ukraine. We have a very strong connection in the country of Romania, being our partner church. So it might be an idea if one wants to look at that as a way to impact this horrible situation. I'm finished.
I just briefly would like to tell everybody that I am now finally officially moving to Asheville, North Carolina next week to be with my partner Leanne, and it has been a very challenging process just to find a place to live, and I just ask for all your blessings for moving karma and that sort of thing going forward. Thank you so much. I'm done.
The last candle is always reserved for those joys, concerns that we carry silently in our hearts. Whatever brought you here today, whatever you're carrying in your mind and heart, know that in this community, no one ever needs to make the journey alone, and that you are loved. Let's be together in a moment of silence. The next reading is by an anonymous poet who goes by Goldfinch. The poem is Skiing for Life, and the reader is Ralph Gandy.
Stepping off the lift at the top of the mountain, skis over my shoulder, happiness in my heart. I stand at the top of the mountain. There beneath me lays the untrodden snow, not a mark upon it. I prepare myself for the journey down the hill, going where none have gone before. The start is slow and gentle, the sibilant of the snow sliding silently beneath my skis. The speed increases as the adrenaline flows. Then it comes to me, the wonder of my world as my journey continues. Not just down this hill, that has become my life, my journey of life. The thrill of living, the thrill of my spirit, flowing in me, flowing with me. I ski down this path, this untrodden path which my life is following. The tracks left behind me where I have been, the unknown ahead of me, but the faith of knowing all will be well. The slope eases, my way slows. I come to stillness, knowing that my journey will never end, and that snow-covered slope will always show me the way.
Our next song is number 18, What Wondrous Love Is This, performed by Jennifer Dolly.
What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul? What wondrous love is this, oh my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, when I was sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, to love and to all friends I will sing, to love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, with thanks unto the end I will sing.
Anne Lamott tells the story about skiing and how her triumphant runs down the easiest slope were filled with pretending to be an Olympic skier. Having managed the gentlest slopes, her move to the intermediate slopes offered experiences of repeated falls and occasional moments of actually skiing triumphantly for America. After one particularly triumphant moment, she got on the lift to go up to the intermediate slope and realized that she missed the chairlift exit. With the fearful realization that she was headed to the top of the mountain and steep expert terrain, she flung herself off the chairlift, the way stuntmen fling themselves onto the backs of speeding trains. Falling 5 or 6 feet was a timeless instant of eternity for her. She was not hurt, But laying in the snow, she assured everyone who stopped that she was fine and really just needed to catch her breath. What she really felt was frozen, winded, ashamed, confused, bruised, and like she was going to throw up. In this rattled condition, she knew that help would be on the way, and this reminded her of a verse from Rumi. Something opens our wings. Something makes boredom and hurt disappear. Someone fills the cup in front of us. We taste only sacredness. After a few minutes, a short, plump woman in an unofficial ski patrol hat led her to a warming hut and left Anne by the fire to get warm and recover. Anne was experiencing feelings of separation from herself, from her faith, and from the happy people on the mountain. And as she slowly warmed and took in the beauty of her surroundings and reflected on the care and kindness of a stranger, she realized she was fine. Everything was fine. She skied cautiously down the mountain, falling now and again, but getting up each time, and slowly and successfully made her descent. Something opened her wings. Something made hurt disappear. Someone filled the cup in front of her. She tasted only sacredness. In the 1960s, I enjoyed sliding down the hill behind my grandparents' house with friends. I remember my Nana watching out the window and smiling and waving. I can hear her laugh. I also enjoyed ice skating at Hudson Bog and the warmth and kinship of sharing a bonfire with friends to ease the winter chill. In 1963, a new ski area opened 45 minutes away, and most of my friends went skiing on the weekend. I felt alone and separated. I wanted to go skiing too, but my parents were afraid. I wore a leg brace and they were afraid that I would get hurt, but the doctors assured them and encouraged them to let me do it because they knew that I would fall down a lot and give up. A few years earlier, I refused to attend church. At an early age, I witnessed what I perceived as hypocrisy, and I dropped out of confirmation class, disillusioned with church, church leaders, and religion. I felt separated from my faith. I didn't know what I believed, and I didn't know how to find out what I believed, other than trying to find my way in the world. And then I went skiing. Before my first ski lesson, I walked up the gentlest slope, much in the same way that Anne Lamott may have climbed, put my skis on, and headed down the hill. Straight down the hill. No turning, no control. I felt like I was going about 100 miles an hour, and I was screaming at the tops of my lungs, partly in terror and partly in exhilaration. As I was about to crash into the ski racks, I laid down, bailed out, and slid to a stop at my parents' feet. Like Anne, I thought my life depended on a decision to fling myself to the snowy earth. My parents were laughing hysterically, partly from relief, but also partly from joy. I did not feel like an Olympian in that moment. But for the first time, I felt freedom from my awkward, clunky walk and the thrill of flying down a mountain. In that moment, I felt more spiritually connected to my parents for their love, for their support, for saying yes, and I felt an unexplainable connection to the mountain in this moment of feeling truly alive. Something opened my wings. In that moment, I didn't recognize that I was kindling a connection to something larger than myself. It was only the beginning. I didn't have the words for years to come, but in retrospect, my beliefs were agnostic. I questioned the existence of God for decades as I moved towards pantheism, a belief that the divine and nature are identical. My feelings of being separate from the world, from faith, from joyful living was about to change. Martha Postlethwaite invites you to create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into your cupped hands and you recognize and greet it. In Maine, and that mountain, whenever I go there, I return to the home of my soul. As we listen to Return Again, may you think about, visualize, and feel the home of your soul.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are. Return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are, born and reborn again.
Shortly after that bailout run, I met Phyllis Thompson, a tall, stern-looking woman with a gravelly voice, eyes that gleamed with love and compassion, and the laugh of Phyllis Diller. If you don't know Phyllis Diller, this is her laugh. She was my ski instructor. Through the years, our relationship grew to a deep appreciation, mentorship, and friendship. I did not know that she volunteered her time with me because no one had taught a person recovering from polio. She gave her time because she did not know if she could teach me. Like her parents, like my parents, she was afraid too, but she never showed that. She was a constant companion, from the beginner's slope to the intermediate and then to expert terrain as my weak leg and alpine skills strengthened. She was my cheerleader as I competed in Junior Masters, the precursor of freestyle skiing. Don't think that I did anything at all. Junior Masters was style skiing in doing specific turns that you were judged for how you, they were like the compulsory movements in ice skating that they used to have. And then freestyle meant they just watched you ski down a slope. No triple somersaults for me. But that was during my teen years. And then she beamed with joy when I was invited to be a ski instructor with her when I was 15. someone filled the cup in front of me. When I could not fill the cup of life on my own, my parents and Phyllis provided the physical, emotional, and spiritual gift that filled my cup with joy, confidence, and curiosity, and the wonder and awe of nature. There's a paradox here because they also gave me the gift, the realization that I am the only one who can fill my spiritual cup. They helped me find the cup and that someone who could fill it. And that someone was me. It was only the beginning. As a 12-year-old, I began experiencing the wonder of and exploring the sublime beauty of a mountain overlooking the majesty of Moosehead Lake and the highest peaks in Maine. After graduate school, at age 24, I returned to live in my cabin in the woods. I was on a journey of self-discovery and acceptance. I did not realize that I was on a responsible search for truth and meaning. Like many of you, I was a Unitarian Universalist for years without knowing it. I found my faith in the beauty of nature and a community of friends, all questioners and seekers, all finding our way, all inspired and in awe of the beauty and power of the natural world in its complex simplicity and balance. It was a joyful life of caring for ourselves and each other and the earth. This week, I recalled a long-forgotten experience on the mountain that has physical, emotional, and spiritual elements, as all mountain experiences do. It was an extremely cold day. The trails were icy. I was skiing with my mother and a friend, and as the strongest skier of the three, I followed them down the mountain in the event that either of them fell in these difficult conditions or wanted to stop for a rest. The trail narrows and flattens and becomes very icy, more ice than snow. I lost my edge and fell and slid off the trail into the woods. The trail was not steep, but the embankment I fell into was extremely steep and pure ice around fir trees. I fell and slid head first, somehow missing the trees until my skis caught up in a small clump of trees. I was suspended upside down on a steep embankment of ice. I could not move. I could not untangle my skis, and I knew I was not visible from the trail. I struggled in a bit of panic to free myself. No luck. I wondered what my mother might be thinking when I didn't show up at the meeting place, her knowing that I was right behind her. I was cold. I didn't pray, but I gave the surroundings all my attention. And I realized that my struggle was wasting valuable energy, so I relaxed. And when I relaxed my body, somehow my skis freed from the trees. I slid a short distance further where I was able to grab a small tree and my legs slid below me. I was no longer upside down, and using the trees as leverage and stability, I was able to slowly sidestep up the icy hillside to the trail where I skied down safely to rejoin my mother and friend with a tall tale. I share this story as a metaphor for the beginning of my responsible search for truth and meaning. With the church and religion, I felt off balance on an unforgiving trail, struggling to be free of it while also struggling to make some sense of it. While resistance may not be futile, like hanging upside down and struggling with gravity and unforgiving conditions on an icy embankment, my blind struggle, resistance, and denial of a spiritual life was unproductive. When I was able to relax and open myself to possibility, I was more able to live beyond the hurt in my life and experience the sacred surrounding me of which I was a part. It was only the beginning. I am drawn to the words of the anonymous poet Goldfinch, who gives insight to the depth of meaning we can find in our relationship to the natural world. Then it comes to me, the wonder of my world as my journey continues, not just down this hill. That has become my life, my journey of life, the thrill of giving, the thrill of my spirit flowing in me, flowing with me. May something open your wings and make boredom and hurt disappear. May you fill the cup of life in front of you. May you taste only sacredness. It's only the beginning. Amen, and blessed be. The closing hymn today is number 298, Wake Now My Senses.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your bow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor, both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
Our closing words today are by Amy Zucker Morgenstern. In every person we meet, especially those who cause us discomfort, we find an opportunity to grow, to learn, to go further along the path of transformation that is our purpose in life. Every single one is our teacher. May the next week bring you many such moments of meeting that help you become the person you want to be, and may you welcome them with joy. Thank you for being with us this morning. It's been such a pleasure to have you here in Fellowship Hall and have you visit us from home as well. Thank you for your generosity in supporting the Community Academy and other initiatives that are important to this fellowship, Black Lives Matter and the Partner Church. As we conclude our service this morning in the Zoom rooms, we'll go into breakout rooms for 15 minutes, and you all can visit for 15 minutes and then visit with the people at home from the fireside room. Thanks for being with us this morning.